Hello, guys, and welcome to day 54 in my journey as a trader. Today, I will be not really making a normal video here. I have sat today and dotted down everything I need and what I think is important when you're day trading as a Christian. So I will go and show this for you and all that I've noted down and had in my head for a while, and then just wrote it down in a slideshow to share with you. So I'll show you guys what I've come up with and how I day trade trade as a Christian, and all the struggles that we face when we are trading as a Christian. So the main struggles when trading as a Christian that we face are greed, pride, idolatry, and entitlement. And I'll go through every one of them more separately. But yeah, I think y'all know how we are greedy when we are trading, and also how we are prideful when we are trading, and how I'll talk about more idolatry later on in this video, and also entitlement. But we can start with greed. So my experience with greed is like, let's say I'm in a trade, I'm in long, and we're getting really close to my take profit, but I have the urge to move my take profit higher to make more money. That results in me getting greedy, and most of the time, almost every time, I lose the trade or the trade goes to break even. But most importantly, I sin because these Bible verses here are saying, we can start with Philippians 4:11 and 4:12, which says, "I'm not saying this because I'm in need, for I have learned to be content with whatever the circumstances. I know what it is to be in need and know that I have plenty. I've learned the secret of being content in any and every situation, whatever, well fed or hungry, whatever, living in plenty or in want." So you need to be, let's say you set a take profit for 1 to 2. You see we're starting to pump and you feel like, oh, we're getting really close to my take profit, let me move it up a bit so I can secure more profits. You have to be content with having a 1 to 2 risk reward. You don't need to always be in need of more. You can be content with a 1 to 2. There's no need. You are sinning, actively sinning, when you are greedy in trading. And also, first letter to Timothy, chapter 3, verse 8, saying, "Deacons should be dignified, not double-tongued, and not addicted to much wine, not greedy for dishonest gain." This verse, along with verses 9 and 13, provides a list of characteristics that deacons should embody, emphasizing their role as servants within the Christian community. So if you are a Christian, you should not be double-tongued, which speaks about you can't, it's pretty much self-explanatory. Not addicted to much wine, not greedy for dishonest gain. That's the one thing in this verse I want you to listen to. Not greedy for dishonest gain. When you are trading, this also talks back to and speaks onward to when we speak about idolatry later on in this video. But how do you know if it's dishonest gain? Let's say you are trading, and that's also, well, I'll come back to this when I speak about idolatry and entitlement. But yeah, no, here. Also, the next sin or struggle we struggle with when trading is pride. My experience with pride is before this, and almost 2 months ago, I started praying before the trading session for God to give me to be a humble trader, to not have greed, and to have my heart posture right. And that we'll talk about more later. But also to be to not be prideful and to be humble, which means to not be prideful in the things that God has given you. Let's say God has given you a great discipline and you are really disciplined from the start. That's not your works at all. That's God that has shaped you into that disciplined creature. And also, that way you don't. Well, let me state it like this. Let's say you're sitting down, you are trading, and you are a disciplined person. That discipline comes from God because it's how God has shaped you, and you are looking for your setup. You're not seeing any setup, but you're still taking, let's say you're still taking a like C minus setup, because you say to yourself, I am a disciplined person, and it's okay because I have discipline. I can take this trade because I am disciplined. But you're not disciplined because you take that trade, and that is pride for me when I think about pride while trading. And also, you are relying too much on the worldly things in such a like trading, all the trading concepts instead of God, because God has all the power over the trading, not you. So you need to, and then we this will also speak onward to idolatry as well, because you need to have God highest in your head always while trading. Otherwise, you are being prideful because you think that you are higher up than other people. You are higher up than God. You are idolizing yourself above God, which will also lead and ultimately lead to you losing your relationship with God as well, because you're constantly sinning. And yeah, I'll go through these verses here. Jeremiah 49:16 says, "The terror you inspire and the pride of your heart has deceived you." The pride of your heart has deceived you. So it's not the pride of like the body or anything that you think you're better than everyone else. It's the pride of your heart which has deceived you. So it's your own pride that deceives you. And also, Proverbs 29, verse 22 to 23 says, "An angry person stirs up conflict, and hot-tempered person commits many sins, while pride will bring a person low, but humility will lead to honor." Let's say, yeah, the opposite of pride is humility. You need to be humble when you're trading, because you are not in control. It's God who's in control, and God doesn't want you to be prideful. And also, you may think that while pride will bring a person low, it will, and humility will lead to honor. And also, this also talks about humility, and how we are humble. And a humble person, a humble spirit, is someone who's low in spirit. And you might think that low in spirit doesn't sound that good, but when we read Matthew 5:3, we read, "Blessed are the poor in spirit, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven." So you need to be poor. The people who are poor in spirit, those who are humble, are blessed, because theirs is the kingdom of heaven. So you, every day, every time, always you need to be humble and not prideful, because that will lead to you losing your relationship with the Lord, and yeah, that's not good. We obviously know that that's not good. And to the next slide, we have idolatry. The first the first verse I have for this is from the first letter to the Corinthians, which says, "Therefore, my beloved, flee from idolatry." And that's Paul that's stating to the Corinthians that they need to flee from idolatry. And how do we commit this sin while trading? Most people, me included, when I started, I was always thinking about the money, the things I would buy when I became profitable, the things I would splurge on things when I became profitable. I wanted a new car, wanted new bags, wanted a new watch, everything to show off that I've succeeded in trading. When I do that, I idolize money over God. I idolize my car over God. I idolize my watch over God, and my desires above God. So I'm committing idolatry, even though I don't have a like I like a Muslim also commits idolatry because he um, sets Muhammad over Jesus and God. But we, in the year 2025, we also commit idolatry because we set materialistic things in the place of God. We set money, we set relationships, everything that we value, we usually set above God. We like when, let's say, put a scenario on when we're trading. Um, let's say you're trading, and this also talks back to greed and also what was it? Greed and pride. Um, and yeah, it also talks back to that. But ultimately, let's set the stage that you are trading. You are sitting and you're getting in a trade. What is the purpose of you trading today? Is it to make money? Is it to get that new car? Or is it to bless your family? Is it to have a better relationship with God? What is your heart posture? Why are you trading? What is your like ultimate goal with trading? Is it to make money? Because if it is, you are idolizing money above God. There's no denying in it. You are idolizing money above God. If your first want with trading is you wanting money. So also that you are prideful when you're doing that as well, because it isn't you that have it isn't your fault that you have been led into trading. It's God who has led you into trading, and you think you are better than God. You are putting materialistic things in the place of God because your desires. You're putting ultimately putting your desires in the place of God. So also you are disobeying the first commandment, which literally says, "Do not have any other god above me." And in the early times when this was written in Exodus, they were speaking about they were worshipping like I think it was a wood statue or it's like something. Yeah, it was a statue of wood, I think, but I could be wrong. The people were worshipping a statue of wood, I think, and that was their god. And we obviously think like this: no, my god isn't a wooden god. I don't worship anything wooden. But you are worshipping a materialistic thing. You are worshipping money. You are worshipping cars. You're worshipping watches. Everything you're worshipping. You're worshipping your relationships. Everything you're putting in the place of God, where God should ultimately be. There is something other, and you're like putting God below that because you think that, yeah, if I place money as my first, like the first thing I want, I will obviously get money. That's not how it works. God has the control over your life. God won't give you money if you don't put God first. You're literally sinning actively and breaking the first commandment and still expect to get money. That is not how it works. And also heart posture, it speaks back to why are you doing it? So let's say also, this also is applicable like into the gym. Why are you lifting? Is it, wait, I have one more. We can take this first. With discipline, why? What is your why? We can read 1 Timothy 4, chapter 4, verse 7 to 8, which reads, "Have nothing to do with godless myths and old wives' tales. Rather, train yourself to be godly. For physical training is of some value, but godliness has a value for all things, holding promise for both the present life and the life to come." So, also, heart posture also speaks back to why it's everything that trading can get you now in form of materialistic things or temporary things. Nothing that you gain from trading you can bring into heaven. And I think it says somewhere Paul states that build up treasure that you can take into heaven, and that he means that you need to build a good relationship with the Lord, because that is the thing that will ultimately lead you to be granted entry to eternal life. And also, train yourself to be godly. train yourself for godliness. You need to train yourself to be godly. Why are you training? Is it to train to get a better body, or is it to train yourself to be godly? What is the why? What's the why of why you're doing it? Is it to get a better body, or is it to train yourself to be godly? I know I trade most of the time to get a better body. That's why I got into the gym at first, to get in shape and to get a better body. But that's not how I view it right now. Right now, I view it more to train myself to be godly. And where is my heart while I train? Is it, oh yeah, I'm going to take like 100 kgs in bench press. That's my ultimate goal right now. That shouldn't be your ultimate goal. The ultimate goal should be to train yourself to be godly, and also to let the Lord's will be over your will. It isn't you who decides if you take 100 kgs in bench press. It's the Lord. So put him first, and you'll see everything aligning. Everything in the right time will happen when the time is right. And we can see that in Isaiah as well. When the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. So when the time is right, it will happen. There's no need to rush it. And also, I want to add something here. Impatience. I listened to a really good podcast today from, it's called The House of Jacob, where they spoke about impatience, and I feel like I really suffer from impatience, and that's also one big thing while training. That when you're impatient, that's also a sin, because you're like ultimately putting yourself in the place of God and saying that his timing is not the best, your timing is the best. And that's prideful, and you're idolizing yourself and your timing. And we can also speak about entitlement, that God does not owe you anything. Every good and perfect gift is from above, states James 1:17. Every good and perfect gift is from above. A gift is not something you're owed. A gift is something you get. You're not owed gifts. Let's say you're graduating, you're not owed a graduation gift. It's something you get. So why would you be angry if you don't get like a gift? It doesn't make sense. You're not owed a gift. A gift is something you get because of you have done good works. And every good and perfect gift comes from above. It doesn't come from trading. It doesn't come from the gym. It comes from above. It doesn't come from the world. It comes from the Lord. So that's what you need to think about. You need to keep your mind on the godly things, not the worldly things, because you're committing each of these sins that we've spoken about if you put yourself in the place of God. If you keep your mind on the worldly desires, you are setting yourself up for failure. And yeah, I think we have gotten everything, every one of these we have spoken about. And then, how should you interpret this in your daily life and while you're trading? I suggest I don't know when you're getting into the markets, but I start looking at the charts at 9:40, because I start trading at 9:45. 9:40 I come into the markets. Before that, I say to myself, and I say to God, and I confess to God, that I'm not trading for me. I'm trading for you, because my heart posture is towards you. I always want to I want this how should I say it? I want this to make my relationship with you better. I don't want the materialistic things with this. That's a byproduct. If it's your will, I will get the materialistic things, because you know what's best for me. And if it's not good for me, I will not get them. But I will still continue to keep my mind on you. And that's one thing I confess before every trading session. I also pray for discipline, and I always say for why am I trading, to confess why I am trading. Usually I confess that I trade for my future. because I want to have a good future. My If I were in the place of if I want to if my wishes could be done, I want to trade so I no longer need to work a normal 9 to 5 job again. But I don't know if that's the Lord's will. I don't know anything. It's the Lord who knows everything. He's outside of time. He already knows what has happened. But I'll continue to pray that um that His will be done in my life, not my will. It even says in the Lord's Prayer that let your will be done. Let your kingdom come, let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. So you need to let the Lord's will be done in your life, not your will. And also Jesus was even, when he was praying to the Father, he was praying, if it's your will, take this cup from me, when he was getting betrayed. He didn't want that. He didn't want to get betrayed. He didn't want to be crucified. But it was the Lord's will. And he trusted in the Lord's will. So you need to trust in the Lord's will for you, because you know that the Lord has got everything for you. He has every worry under control, everything under control. So you need to let go and let God. Put your worries before Him. He will make your life better if you do that. And also, I pray for discipline and conviction, and to not be greedy. And also, I think that when I pray for why and tell why I do this, it's harder to be greedy because I'm not doing it for myself anymore. Why should I be greedy for something that isn't even mine, that I'm doing for another person? Let's say I'm trading. Every profit goes toward my brother or some stranger. Why would I need to get more? It isn't even going to me, it's going towards the Lord. I will try to give as much as I can to the Lord. That's why I don't settle for less than than I see, that is not greedy. But I don't want to be greedy, because why would I be even? Why would I sin in something that I will give to the Lord? Why? It doesn't make sense at all. But still, we're human, we fall into the sin. We need to confess our sins and pray that we can be set free from them, set free from our greed, which is, I think, a really big part of people's trading journey, is the struggle and sin of greed. And also, when I'm done praying, I go into the charts. I sit down and I try to be as patient as I can. I sit, and the thing I want to do but it doesn't always happen, because the devil tempts everybody. He is walking the earth and tempting everybody. That is getting towards starting to have more faith and a better relationship with God. So that's something you need to be you need to know about. That you will be tempted. You will be tempted to take that trade. You can see every bad setup as a temptation. You don't want to fall into the temptation. You don't. Because the temptation in this case is impatience and putting your own timing. Yeah, I needed to pause quick, but I don't really know where I were. But I think we were speaking about how the temptation in this case is impatience. And it really is, because the temptation is you taking a trade that is not there. You putting yourself in the place of God and assuming and saying that your timing is better than His. The A+ setup will come when it comes. When the time is right, when the time is perfect, the Lord will give you the A+ setup. You're not ready for it yet. The Lord will give you to it when you're ready. And also, one more thing from the podcast that I listened to today about impatience is it doesn't really feel good to hear that you need to be waiting, because you're waiting for when the time is right. There's two different types of waiting that the guy in the podcast also talks about, which is waiting and active waiting. He made a really good analogy of, let's say, it was a server at a restaurant who was serving, and he doesn't. He's like, the thing he wants when the time is right is a tip. So when he sees that a family, let's say a family, is sitting at a table, he gets and collects their order, delivers it to the chef. They're making their food, and he's delivering it back to the people that are sitting at the table, so they can eat and then pay and then leave a tip, so he can go and collect it. But when he has delivered the food, he doesn't just stand there and wait until they are done. He serves. He serves the other people in the restaurant. He collects their food. He gives them their food. He collects their orders and everything. He serves. He's an active waiter, and that's what you need to do. You need to serve by following your rules, by not idolizing things above God, by always and always trusting in the Lord's will instead of your will. And then the time will be right when God thinks you're ready. So you're not just sitting there and coping. Oh yeah, I'm just waiting because the time isn't right now. You're still waiting, but you're waiting actively. You're waiting actively by doing the things you know that are good for you. Not just sitting there, standing there, waiting for the people to go so you can take their tip while the other people are waiting. You still go and do the things you know are good, and then the good things will come when the time is right. That's the things I wanted to speak about today. Maybe this video doesn't suit everybody because I don't know how many of my audience are Christians, but I still wanted to speak about this because I think it's a really important topic for the people that are Christian and they're out trading. And yeah, I also am not perfect. I'm not a perfect Christian at all. I fall into sin and temptation. But we need to still sharpen each other. In Proverbs it says, as iron sharpens iron, another friend sharpens another friend. I think it says something like that. We need to sharpen each other to become better in front of the Lord. And that's the thing I wanted to share with you today. The message that I jotted down today. And I think that's everything actually. But there will come more videos like this because I think this is, as I said, a really important topic. But yeah, that is everything for today actually. So I'll see you guys tomorrow. Goodbye and God bless.